I know y'all love a good amount of mess. This show had a good amount of mess, so this could use a reboot. What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about TV shows I feel like actually need a reboot. All of these shows, guys, that are just getting canceled left and right, and especially the rebooted shows, they're like among the ones that are canceled like the quickest these days. These streaming services, these TV networks, they don't know which show to actually bring back. I think that's the main reason why these reboots fail in the long term. Most of them don't even make it to 2 seasons. Like, before the actor can even speak, it's canceled. But I just feel like if y'all pick better shows to actually bring back, reboot, people will watch more. There'll be more viewership. The show will last longer. Like, pick the right shows in the first place. I need to work in Hollywood because y'all clearly need me. Before we get into the video, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and also don't forget to check out all my other commentary videos. I have multiple playlists. I'll leave those down in the description, and you guys can check that out after the video. Alright, the first show that I feel like could actually use a reboot and would be actually really successful in it is Degrassi. Before I dive into why, I know they did try to bring Degrassi back. I think it was late last year. They said they were gonna try to bring it back, but it was scrapped. See, that's what I mean. Like, we need the right people to handle these shows. But anyways, this show was insane, like crazy. I definitely feel like if it came out like a couple years later, I know the very first Degrassi season was, I think it was 2001. I wasn't even born yet. I was not born yet. But I feel like had it started coming out like in 2010, 11, 12, like it would definitely be a lot more talked about today, like right now. Definitely as a kid when I was watching, because I was super young when Degrassi was coming out, the show did not hold back. It was not PG at all. It was definitely ahead of its time though, with all the themes that it had in the show, with teen parenting, sexuality, bullying, drugs. Those type of things were considered taboo at that time. So Degrassi was actually ahead of its time when it was coming out. Even though Degrassi was super popular, I mean, let's talk about the cast, y'all. I had Nina Dobrev, Shay Mitchell, Drake. I should have started off with Drake. Those are A-list. All of those actors that I just mentioned went on to be A-listers or be stars of their own shows. They had a cast, they had a story, they had mess, they had drama. You can't tell me Degrassi wouldn't thrive in a reboot today. Why did they scrap it? That was a missed opportunity. Each season they brought in new people. They could still bring in new people, and if some of those actors that were on Degrassi are available, then they could make a little cameo or whatever. But it still could have worked out. There was so much story to tell with the different characters. Claire, Eli, I loved their story. Just get this show a reboot. Why did y'all scrap the idea? Hollywood needs me. Y'all need me. Alright, the next show that I feel like needs a reboot, that I feel like a lot of people forgot about, is The Fosters. We moved on a little too fast from The Fosters. First of all, the story. Y'all know I like shows with unique plots, characters, storyline. I love that when it comes to a show. So The Fosters, I feel like had it all. They had a unique story. It was so interesting, a house full of foster kids and the foster care system and their trauma, what they go through. That's a valid story. You don't see that a lot in TV shows. It was messy. Yeah, I know y'all remember Callie and Brandon's relationship. It was always an issue. They were siblings, so they couldn't be intimate and involved. That relationship was a roller coaster. They never knew what they wanted to do. And I absolutely loved the moms. That was another nice element that I feel like they had in the show. It was modern, so you can't tell me that it wouldn't thrive in today's TV climate, this society that we live in right now. I will say it did get a decent amount of seasons. I think it got 5 seasons. So I'm not gonna be oh, it did dirty, you only got 1 season and then it got canceled. It definitely didn't. It definitely had a decent amount of seasons. Y'all, when they replaced Jake T. Austin's actor with Noah, I was flabbergasted when I was younger. I was like, what? That's not you. That's not him. But now, I understand how TV shows work. Actors move on, blah, blah, yada, yada, I get it now. But when I remember when it first happened, I was taken aback. But yeah, the dip in ratings is definitely the reason why they said it got canceled. In general, it definitely didn't last. The ratings after season 4 just dipped. So, they got rid of it. But that's why I feel like it needs a reboot. Like, it definitely could thrive today. Like, the story is relevant. It was good back then. It could be great now. And all the actors are mainly unemployed. It's not like they could be like, oh, I'm busy shooting a movie. You're lying. Speaking of ABC Family, the next show is Twisted. Now, this show, I know the ratings were why it got canceled. Like, I don't think a lot of people even know what Twisted is, this show, when it was coming out. But it was like when The Fosters was coming out. Like, it was on the same network, ABC Family. So I watched it, and I feel like a decent amount of people watched it too. But y'all know I had to support my man Avin. Y'all know I had to support him. But no, it had a good storyline. Like, in all seriousness, it did have a really good storyline. A child murderer grows up, comes back to the town that the murder occurred in. He's trying to like get back into, you know, the school with his old friends, and then another murder happens. So he's like the prime suspect. Like, it was mess. It had mess. I know y'all love a good amount of mess. This show had a good amount of mess. So this could use a reboot. But yeah, Danny, the main character, played by Avin, his character could not catch a break in this show. He was always being accused. I get it, like, he was a child murderer, like, in the beginning of the show. Everyone, that's what they knew him as. But he could not catch a break in this show. He was always being accused of something. But yeah, it definitely didn't get as much promo as it deserved, probably, when it was coming out. Like, I can't, like, find another person in my area that knows what Twisted is. Like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure some of my siblings even remember this show, but I do. And I definitely think the story was good enough for it to get a reboot, y'all. It had mess. It had good characters. You know, Avin, he's a pioneer. It only got one season, so a reboot would be able to happen. Like, it didn't get a long run. Like, y'all could still change up the story if y'all want to. The actors, again, in this show are unemployed, so it could definitely come back. But yeah, it was too good of a story. Like, what actually is wrong with y'all? Why did y'all cancel it? Why? Other than the bad ratings. Answer that for me. And speaking of Avin, Victorious also needs a reboot. I'm sorry, Miss Carly Shay. Victorious should have been the Nickelodeon show that got a reboot. Nah, iCarly. Yeah, you know, iCarly, like, Carly's my girl. I love you, Carly. The show was good. It's definitely top 2 Nickelodeon shows. Like, Carly and Victorious, they're like up there. But I feel like Victorious definitely would have been the more successful of the two. It definitely should have got the reboot. I'm sorry. Like, what was the decision? Like, what was the talks around? Like, I know some of the main characters are stars now, but they still could bring the unemployed ones back. What was going on in the meeting room? I should have been there. Victorious, I'm sorry, like, it still to this day gets talked about all the time. Y'all could go watch my Victorious character ranking video. I had a lot to get off my chest in that video. And I also talk about why I need a reboot. This Victorious needs a reboot. Get rid of the iCarly reboot. Even though it's pretty good, Paramount, Victorious would have got you more money. You just lost the bag. Another show, like, from like Nick/Disney Channel, I feel like could get a like spin-off or a reboot is Wizards of Waverly Place. Like, all the cast members talk to each other. Selena Gomez, you know, she talks to all of them, and they're for the most part unemployed. Even Selena, you know, with recent developments, she's pretty unemployed. So I feel like Wizards of Waverly Place could also get like a reboot too. It had a really good story, you know, Wizards, Supernatural. There wasn't really too much Supernatural on Disney, so I liked that. It was, for me, my favorite Disney show at the time. I know y'all talk about Hannah Montana, y'all talk about That's So Raven. Wizards of Waverly Place was a number 1 for me. I'm sorry. Like, number 1, all the actors are still here. They're still breathing. God bless. And it had a pretty good story. We want to see what they're doing as grown-ups, as a mothers, you know. I hear the people talk about it on Twitter as well, like they would like a reboot of that show. But let's make it happen, Disney. Disney done a reboot of, okay, they've done Raven's Home. How well is that doing? Not well. Again, they chose the wrong show to bring back. Do a Wizards of Waverly Place reboot instead of Raven's Home, and it would have got y'all more money, Disney. Hire me, I'm available. And the last show of my, like, this is one of my favorite shows. It's a CW show, y'all. Like, CW definitely up there for one of the worst networks. Secret Circle. This show is so underrated, so unknown by a lot of people. I don't understand. Let's get into it. It was kind of like reminiscent of like the Vampire Diaries, you know, like that Supernatural era was coming around, like it was coming out around that time, like 2009, 2010. Like, it was coming out when those types of fantasy shows were really popular, which is why I can't understand why it didn't blow up. But yeah, it had that supernatural aspect. They were all witches though. Like, the main supernatural thing of that show was they were all witches. And y'all know I had to support my girl Phoebe Tonkin. She was also on that show, and she carried that show. She wasn't the main character. She was like one of the main characters, but it wasn't like about her. But she carried that show. Faye That's my girl. Tell me why I only got 1 season though. Like, it was a good story. All of them were witches. All of them were finding out how to use their powers. And then even at the end, they introduced like the new like evil siblings of the main character Cassie that were gonna show up. They just ended the show. I know the actors were blindsided when they ended the show out of nowhere, because like, why I left us low-key on a cliffhanger. They were expecting a season 2. Oh my, I feel bad, y'all. But yeah, I know all the actors were like taken aback. They were blindsided. Well, except for Phoebe, because like literally after it was canceled, she was cast in the Vampire Diaries. So her career like was still pretty secure after that show. All the other actors, I don't know where they are now. I can't tell you. Well, Shelly, she was on Teen Wolf as Malia, so her career stayed afloat. But everyone else, done dirty. But yeah, it definitely needs to be brought back. I do see some discussion about it, like sometimes on Twitter, like Secret Circle, do y'all remember this show? I'm like, how do people not remember it? It was so good. Bring it back. HBO, even Netflix. Like, I'll give Netflix a chance. Like, bring this show back. Alright guys, that was me talking about shows I feel like actually need a reboot. Let me know what other old shows that came out that you feel like definitely deserve a second chance. Like, I feel like there's so many more. I could have made like a list of 18 different shows, but definitely let me know in the comments, guys, any old shows that you guys want to see come back some way, shape, or form. Some platform picks it up, gives it a spin-off, a remaster, something. Let me know in the comments. Again, don't be afraid to leave your video requests, guys. Leave any video ideas you guys want to see in the future. Don't forget to check out all my other commentary videos / rankings. I'll leave those links again in the description. You guys can check that out after the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you very soon in the next one.